Hey, what is going on, guys? Daniel chapter 10, lesson 13. I know what you're saying. Hey, he's wearing the same shirt he did the last lesson. Well, sometimes you got to do two recordings on the same day, and that's what we're doing today. We got my homeboy back here, Pastor Weedman's going on vacation, man. He's going to Florida next week, so I got to get this one in while I can, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, this one, kind of like chapter 9, a little bit shorter. Chapter 10 is a setup chapter for chapters 11 and 12. Okay, so chapter 10, 11, and 12, Daniel's having the same vision, getting the same message from the same angel about this end time stuff. Okay, chapter 11, chapter 12, we're getting into the kings of the north and south, and we're getting into the inner workings of the tribulation period and all that kind of stuff. Really some awesome prophetic stuff. But Daniel chapter 10 is like the setup. This is where he meets the angel, and he sees this glorified, awesome thing, and he kind of tells a story of what takes place before he receives the message. Okay? So, that being said, we're going to get through Daniel chapter 10. Seems like we're kicking them out, but when we get to 11 and 12, we're going to slow up a little bit. The reason why is there's a lot of information in chapter 11, lots of historical stuff that we're going to have to go through, and comparing Antiochus Epiphanes to the Antichrist, and then we talk about the Antichrist and all that kind of stuff, and we have a lot to go over. Also, so I'm thinking chapters 11 and 12, it's going to take us 4 lessons. I don't want to overload you. I don't want to keep them too short. I want to keep going, so I'm thinking we can get them done in 4 lessons. Like I said before, goal is to, we have a week off, Thanksgiving week. Obviously, we're going to take that week off. We're going to have a 2-week break for Christmas, Christmas week and New Year's week. We're not meeting, not going to do anything. Family time, family. Enjoy it while we can, right? So our goal is we'll be done with this by Christmas. Daniel, okay? Then we get into Revelation after Christmas. But we're going to break this down into 4 lessons. And some of the lessons, we were talking about a lot of history about the kings of the north and south, but we've got to get an introduction into Islam in. We've got to understand Islam and the Muslim religion, because Israel and Jerusalem is centered around all Islamic nations and countries. The king of the north and the king of the south are Islamic countries. Okay, they're fighting over this stuff. The king of the north is where the Antichrist comes out of. These are Islamic countries. We've got to cover this. Okay, the Antichrist will come out of Muslim. He will be the caliphate. Okay, the Islamic caliphate, which we talked about that, which is the Islamic leader. Okay, and of course, we are going to reveal the mystery of the mark of the beast, the number 666. Okay, we're going to link this up. Okay, with the Antichrist, with the Muslim religion. Okay, I'm going to show you a lot of awesome stuff. This is going to be in-depth and amazing. Okay, but we've got to reveal what this number is. We're going to go ahead and study the mystery now. When we get to Revelations, we can just kind of brush up on it. But we've got to understand and connect the Antichrist with all this, what's going to go on. Okay, so that's why we got 4 lessons in the last 2 chapters. All right, so I know I'm blowing your mind like, wait a minute, what? I want to know now. Well, just wait for it. I'm going to get into it, okay? It's going to be awesome. Verses 1, chapter 10, says, in the 3rd year of the king Cyrus's Persia, during his reign, I can't even talk about it, in the 3rd year of the reign of King Cyrus of Persia, Daniel, also known as Belshazzar, had another vision. He understood that the vision concerned events certain to happen in the future, times of war and great hardship. So here we go. Before, remember, back in chapter 7 and chapter 8, remember that he didn't understand these things, and he was distraught and didn't know. And those kind of like those 2 chapters were 7 and 8 were kind of continuation chapters, kind of like chapter 10, 11, 12. But in here he says, I understood what the visions mean. Right, because he's been studying, he's been praying, he's been getting revelation, so now it's starting to fit all the puzzle pieces together for Daniel. He's starting to get it. Okay? Of course, it says of the 3rd year of King Cyrus's reign, it probably says in some of your commentary on the Bible, if you're kind of following on your Bibles, this is around 336 BC. Like I said, we're not here to get exact accurate, but it's around that time, give or take a year or so. Okay, 336 BC is the time, or 536 BC, I should say. I don't know why I said 536 BC is a 3 or 4 years after the Cyrus decree. Okay? Verse 2. And here we go. This is great. I prepared an awesome book, and it took me so long, and I just spent so much time on the 21-day Daniel fast, and I'm going to reveal it to you in a second. So let's just read the 21-day Daniel fast here. Verse 2, 2 and 3. Verse 2 and 3. When the vision came to me, I, Daniel, had been in mourning for 3 whole weeks. 3 whole weeks, 21 days. All that time, and I'm gonna jump back and forth to some KJV stuff too, and I'll just say the KJV, but we're reading NLT. But I love the KJV. Read it all the time. Okay, and you got to kind of compare both of them. It says, all that time I had eaten no rich food. In the KJV it says no pleasant bread, no meat or wine crossed my lips, and I used no fragrant lotions until those 3 weeks had passed. The KJV reads no pleasant bread, which means no leavened bread, nothing with a rising agent. No flesh, the KJV says, which means no meat. And, of course, no wine or no alcohol. So there we go. I have solved this crazy puzzle. And I took so long, and I made this slide for you, and here you go. This is the 21-day Daniel fast. Simplified. No meat of any sort. And I have a slide for it, if it's up or not. No leavened bread. This means with no yeast and no rising agent in it, and no wine or alcohol. Okay? That's what the 21-day Daniel fast is. And I'm cool with some of these books that are out there and all these different things. And I'm cool. Hey, anything that promotes the Lord is awesome. But I hear a lot of people, hey, you can eat this, but you can't eat the raisin, and I got to eat nuts and dates. There is it right there, verses 2 and 3. No meat, no leavened bread, and no alcohol. That's it, okay? If you really just want to go by Scripture and say, hey, I'm going to do the 21-day Daniel fast, that's it. You got a lot of these, some guys have spent all this time, and I feel like they make it confusing sometimes. And I'm cool with doing whatever fast you want to do. I'm just telling you, if you really just want to go by Scriptures, that's what it is. No meat, no bread, and no alcohol, okay? No having, get in with Mom Altabelli, make some pasta, and you want to have a little glass of wine, right? You just got for those 21 days, hey, you can't do that, right? And, of course, when you're watching the game, you stay away from alcohol for 21 days. All right, it'll be all right. You'll be good, okay? And no leavened bread. That's anything without any rising agent, okay? And, of course, no meat. All right, we did it. 21-day Daniel fast. I don't know about you, but I've been doing a little fasting. Right now we're going through the election year, 2020. Okay, and a lot of us been doing a little praying and fasting because it's a big deal. This was a huge election, and now that you're saying this, watching this, we probably already know who the leader is, who the president is now. We're doing a lot of praying and fasting, and this is one of the things I've been doing as part of this 21-day Daniel fast type thing. All right, verses 5 and 6. I looked up and saw a man dressed in linen clothing, with a belt of pure gold around his waist. His body looked like a precious gem. His face flashed like lightning, and his eyes flamed like torches. His arms and feet shone like polished bronze, and his voice roared like a vast multitude of people. All right, this is some extraordinary angel here, right? Did I skip verse 4? I did skip chapter 4, verse 4. I'm just keeping on going, aren't I? All right, we'll back up. Verse 4, don't want to skip anything. It says, on April 23rd, as I was standing on the bank of the great Tigris River, I looked up and saw a man dressed in linen clothing, with a belt of pure gold around his waist. His body looked like precious gem. His face flashed like lightning, and his eyes flamed like torches. His arms and feet shone like polished bronze, and his feet roared like a vast multitude of people. April 23rd. Okay, April 23rd, it says some of your Bibles, the KJV is going to say, in the 4th and 20th day of the month of Nisan. or in the first month. Okay, it's talking about the Hebrew calendar. The first month is Nisan, end of March, April. Okay, think of when the Passover is. Okay, when Jesus Passover. Okay, so well, listen to this incredible how Daniel describes this angel. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It's beautiful, and there are some people that think that this could be the pre-incarnate Jesus. Okay, just by the sheer what it says, flashes of lightning, and his eyes look like torches. And some people will say, this could be the pre-incarnate or the angel of the Lord. Okay, and I'm not here to discredit. If that's cool. I think it is an angel. As we get later down in chapter 10 in the scriptures, this angel says that he called upon Michael to help him break through some spiritual strongholds. Jesus probably wouldn't have to call on Michael. He is God. He also says that he stood by Michael. He has been standing by Michael since the first year of Darius the Mede. So this angel's kind of giving you his military duties, and that Michael is kind of like somebody who is, like I said, he's the general. Michael is a general, and so I think this is an angel. It's not Jesus. Okay, just on what he says, and we'll touch on that later. But anyways, let's go to verse 7. It says, "Only I, Daniel, saw this vision. The men with me saw nothing, but they were suddenly terrified and ran away to hide." Okay, so the Lord causes fear to kind of overpower these men, right? And they run away. So we know that this message is for Daniel and Daniel only. He kind of shoos everybody away. Daniel, that's it, right? Verses 8 and 9. "So I was left there all alone to see this amazing vision. My strength left me. My face grew deathly pale, and I felt very weak. Then I heard the man speak, and when I heard the sound of his voice, I fainted and lay there with my face to the ground." Okay, here we go. Daniel starts to get sick to his stomach, and he becomes very weak. This happens a lot of times when you're in the presence of these celestial beings or angelic things. I mean, this human body cannot handle these things sometimes. And we see this throughout our Bibles. People, literally just collapsing when these angels come, or the angel Lord, or whatever it may be. Okay, this body is an earthly body, and it can't sometimes handle these celestial things. And the glory that some of these angels, and of course the Lord has, I mean, it just can't handle it. Okay, verse 10. "Just then, a hand touched me and lifted me, still trembling to my hands and knees." And so here we go. We have a hand. Some of the other scriptures say a hand came down, or I should say virgins. But here we go. An angel is trying to help Daniel up, right? Get him up on all fours. All right. Verse 11. "And the man said to me, 'Daniel, you are very precious to God. So listen carefully to what I have to say. Stand up. I have been sent to you, for I have been sent to you.' When he said this to me, I stood up, still trembling." So here we go. The angel starts to comfort Daniel, right? He's given some encouraging words. He even says that you are very precious to God. Okay, that's another reason why I think it's an angel, because he would say, well, you are very precious to me. If it was the Lord, you are very precious to me. He's saying you are very precious to God. Okay, verses 12 and 13. There's some big ones, and we're going to have to stop here for a little bit and talk a little bit. Not too long, though, just a little bit. It says, "Then he said, 'Don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you began to pray for understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your request has been heard in heaven. I have come in answer to your prayer.'" Okay, verse 13. "But for 21 days, the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my way." Okay, stop for a second. The spirit prince of Persia. What is he talking about? He is talking about evil, dark rulers in the atmospheric and heavenly realms. That's what the spirit prince of Persia. We have some evil spirit princes, and we have some good spirit princes. Obviously, the good ones are the holy. That's our holy family here. But let's continue and read the rest of what it says. The spirit prince of kingdom of Persia blocked my way. Then Michael, one of the archangels, came to help me, and I left him there with the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia. For 21 days, the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my way. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Daniel is starting to pray for understanding on this topic. Okay, and what happens? Daniel starts to pray, which happens to a lot of us, kind of giving us a foreshadowing or kind of what happens when big moments come up in our lives. Okay, so he prays for something serious. That prayer goes up to the third heaven, right? And so there's a response, and the Lord's like, okay, we're going to answer this prayer. And so what immediately happens is there is a spiritual battle that takes place, and it starts in the second heaven. And then it works its way down. The message is coming, and it works its way down to the first heaven. And then finally it gets to you. So there is a battle starting well before it even gets to us. Okay, you have a battle in the second heaven. Okay, and then like I said, now it's getting to the spirit prince of Persia. Okay, the spirit prince of Persia means there is something in back of nations. Okay, like I said, there's a spiritual powers in the heavenly places. There's a spiritual battle going on at all times. And some of these nations, or all these, whether it be evil or good, have these commanding officers over those nations. Okay, there's a chain of command. Okay, and we're going to get to that in a second. But what takes place, like I said before, is the battle starts in the second heaven, and then it gets down to the first heaven, and then it finally gets to you. And so, best way I can describe this is a lot of times you are going to feel the aftershocks of this battle before you get the message. And some of you guys will be like, wow, here we go, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Right before a great promotion, right before a great breakthrough, something that you've been really wanting, really praying about, and you're about to get it, but you don't know it yet, it seems like those 2 or 3 days before the breakthrough happens, before the promotion happens, are like the hardest days. You don't know what's going on. You're feeling terrible. You're maybe sick. Everything around you is just chaotic. This is breaking. That's breaking. Your other half's yelling at you all the time. You're in some arguments. I'm just saying, it's just absolutely crazy. Like, these are like the worst couple days of my life. I don't know what's going on. What in the world is happening? And then all of a sudden, that day comes and the breakthrough happens. Or the promotion happens and something incredible happens. What you are feeling is the aftershocks of that battle in the spiritual realm. Okay? And sometimes your protection is lifted a little bit. Okay, because they're trying to get that message to you, and hey, we got to go help out this angel. We got to go help out this person, or hey, we got to call on Gabriel or Michael or whatever, because we got to get this thing. It's got to be done. The Lord has said we got to get this message to them, and so your protection is living, and things are crazy. It's happening because you're about to receive an awesome revelation or prayer or whatever you've been doing. That's what takes place. So this is kind of what we're talking about when it comes into. I got off topic. Immediately what happens after you're praying and doing things like that. Okay? So, let's get back to a little bit of the spirit princes. Okay? And what they represent. Okay? Here in the spiritual realm. And so, and I'll just tell a quick story real quick. Because actually, it just reminded me of something that a good friend of mine said. He had been studying the scriptures a long time. This guy's an atheist. Okay, he didn't believe in any of it. Thought it was stupid. But he studied a lot of all kinds of stuff. Okay, whether it be Satanistic stuff, and of course the Bible. And so as he was reading, and as he was doing stuff, he came to a conclusion. He said, "You know what? I finally came to a conclusion like this." He said, I found out that there is evil in the world. There's something evil in back of things. And then there's something good in the world. And there's something good in back of them. And he's like, so I came to this decision. And he said, do I want to be on the good guys team? Or do I want to be on the bad guys team? Do I want to be a force of good in this world? Or do I want to be a force of evil in this world? And so when he really broke it down to him like that, that is when he decided that the scriptures and all that was good came to life for him. He's like, you know what, I don't want to be like this. And there is evil and good. And so that propelled him to dive into the scriptures more, and he became saved just reading the scriptures. You know, everybody's got a different path, different way of finding out things. But it was huge for him. And so you need to know that there are spiritual powers in the heavenlies, this good versus evil happening all the time. Okay? And we need to realize that, and it starts in the spiritual realm. All right, so let's go to a little slide I have. All right, I have a little slide here. You can see the man, right? We are caught in the middle of this spiritual battle. You see above him, there's these spiritual powers in the heavenlies. They're constantly at war, right? So this man is caught in the middle. So let's just read Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Scripture from Paul. It says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world." Against, listen to this, cosmic powers over this present darkness, and against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. There you go. Paul even says it out there. We are fighting a spiritual battle in the heavenly places, right? And so there is something in back of these evil nations and these godless nations. There is a spirit prince, okay, over some of these nations. And we're going to find out later, okay, and later down in this chapter, that this angel says Gabriel is a spirit prince. And he actually says is your spirit prince, Daniel. And what he is saying, he's not saying that this is Daniel's bodyguard or guardian angels. What he is saying is this is your spirit prince, meaning this is the spirit prince of Jerusalem. This is the spirit prince of the nation of Israel, your spirit prince. He is in protection of your people, okay? And so I kind of wanted to touch base on what this means. And later down the road, we're going to read here at the end of this chapter that this angel says that he is fighting the spirit prince of Persia. And then he's like, later after this, I'm going to fight the spirit prince of Greece. Okay, another kind of evil nation, right? And so we know that Greece took over the Persian Empire. So we had to get into spirit princes. We need to know what's going on out there and the chain of command, okay? All right, so this angel calls upon Michael, right? He calls upon Michael, who is like a general. He is the general in the army of the Lord, okay? He is the general of generals, okay? And he pretty much has command over all saints and angels, okay? But he calls upon Michael to break the stronghold so that this angel can go and give the message to Daniel. So as we're talking about Michael, because we're talking a lot about him in this chapter, let's go ahead and check out Michael. We did a little thing on Gabriel last week, I think it was, or a couple lessons ago. So let's talk about Michael a little bit, okay? Michael, the Archangel. Okay, Michael is the spirit prince and protector over Israel and Judah. Okay, that's not all he does, but that is, as it says in the scriptures here, we're going to get to it in a second, that is your spirit prince. Okay, he's a spirit prince over Israel and Judah. He is in charge of Jerusalem and all that surrounds the temple and the most holy place on earth, both on the ground and the atmospheric realm and all the way up into the second heaven. Okay, Michael has jurisdiction over everything, okay? Kind of like different officers of the law has different jurisdictions, right? You got, federal agents, which is the whole nation. Then you have state police, right? They're over the whole state. Then you have county guys, right? The county police, they're over that county. And then you have city guys who are just over that city. Same thing with some of the angels when they get dispatched to a certain position or their military duties, they're different jurisdictions and they control different areas. Well, Michael, he's like, hey man, I got jurisdiction over everything. All right. Michael, according to Revelation, is the leader of heaven's armies in the war against Satan in the second heaven, where Satan and his angels are cast down to earth, right? We read this in Revelation chapter 12, okay, where Michael throws Satan down to earth. Halfway through the tribulation period is when Satan is thrown down to earth by who? By Michael. So we know he has access to the second heaven, right? So does Michael. Michael's name means, in Hebrew, the actual name Michael means, who is like God. Okay, who is like God. Okay, Michael is an amazing angel. Okay, his very name means who is like God. Okay, and we're going to read a chapter in Revelation here in a second just on him, and just glorified and just okay. I think I said this a couple weeks ago, guys. You have God the Father, you have Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. After that, it is Michael. Michael is in fourth in command. Okay, he is the leader of all the saints and angels. He is the general of generals. Okay, and so when we get up there, this is a big deal. Okay, we're not going to go up there and hey, I'm in charge now, and hey, Michael and Gabriel and all you other angels, hey, we have arrived. We're saints now, and so you guys can take a back seat. No, man, we're a family. We are all in this together, okay? And these guys have been around thousands and thousands and thousands of years and know a lot more than us, and there's going to be a chain of command. There's going to be, you may be in charge of some angels when you get up there. Some angels are going to be in charge of you, okay? This is, how it works, okay? And we're all together as family. I mean, this is one, like I said, one team, one fight. Michael, like I said, is the most powerful angel who has been given authority over all angels and saints. And I kind of already talked about the chain of command and how we are connected to that already, so let's not go over that. He is the commander-in-chief of the armies of the Lord until Jesus makes his return. Okay, he gets his commands from who? God the Father and Jesus Christ, right? Okay, but while he's here, while he's doing the Lord's work, he's in command. The Lord has put him as the authoritative figure. He has given him all the authority to do whatever he has to do the will of God. Okay, he's in charge. Okay, and he gets from his commanding officer, Jesus Christ and God the Father, then he dispatches it to his troops and to his saints and to the people that are helping him, right? That's what he does. Okay, so he's in charge. When the Lord comes back, obviously that's the commander of the Lord's army. I mean, he's in charge of all things, right? But I'm just saying, as of right now, he is the commander-in-chief, okay, along with Jesus, all right? Michael is mentioned by the Apostle Jude as an archangel and one of the mightiest of angels, okay? There's a different point to the Bible where it talks about Michael. And Jude also recounts the argument between Satan and Michael. There's an argument between Satan and Michael about the burial of Moses' body. Okay, and I remember Michael says, may the Lord rebuke you. And do you want to know why Michael says that? You want to know why that? Because this has been a catastrophic war since the beginning of time. And Michael is not going to steal the Lord's glory. That is the Lord's fight. That is the Lord's fight. And Michael is not going to do that. He says, may the Lord rebuke you. Okay? I'm trying to think of an example. You may have had an issue with somebody. You're about to... There's a fight. And you have been training for this fight for years and years and years and years and years. It's been you versus this guy, and it's almost there, and you're about to go after it, and this is your fight. This is against you and him. Am I going to come in there right at the last minute and fight this battle for you that you have trained so hard for, that you've been doing this? No, I'm not going to steal your glory. The Lord is the righteous ruler. He has all the command. This is his fight. And so he is not going to do that. He's not going to take that away from the Lord. That's why it says, may the Lord rebuke you. This is the Lord's fight, the Lord's battle. He is the great revenger. It's his, right? He will avenge. And that's what he says then. He's like, I'm not going to do this. This is the Lord's battle. I'm stepping back here. I'm not going to steal his glory. All right? All right, so let's read about Michael a little bit. Chapter 10 of Revelations is about Michael. And I know a lot, we got some arguments that, this is Jesus, this is Jesus, this is Jesus. And when we get into it, it's not. This is the great Michael, the Archangel. Okay, so let's read it. We got a slide here, the angel and the small scroll, Revelation chapter 10. Then I saw, and right off the bat here, listen. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. I know it sounds like when we read about this, it sounds amazing, but just listen to me. Another mighty angel coming down from heaven, surrounded by a cloud, with a rainbow over his head. His face shone like the sun, and his feet were like pillars of fire. This is an extraordinary figure. It sounds like it's the Lord. Surrounded by a cloud, a rainbow over his head, his face shone like the sun. But what is Michael's name? He is like God. Okay, his glory is magnified so much. Guys, you would think, and you see this in your Bibles, some of these angels come down, especially Michael. When you get into their presence, they collapse, and you're like, oh, and they almost start to worship some of these angels because of their glory and just because of their magnificence. And so this is what Michael, you would think that it is the Lord. I mean, he's been around so long, and he's got so much glory, and it is commanding. And that's what the Lord does too. It commands that you just, oh my gosh, this is the Lord. And so you see in some of our Bibles, the angels are like, hey, get up. I am your fellow servant. I'm not the Lord. Don't worship me. You've seen that a few different times in your Bible. Well, this is what would happen if Michael was to come. Okay, and we see it surrounded by a cloud and a rainbow. It's like, who is like God? Okay, and so he's just an amazing angel. Okay, and it says, and in his hand was a small scroll that had been opened. He stood with his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. What does this mean? Jurisdiction, guys. Jurisdiction. Land and sea. I can go anywhere. I have jurisdiction over all nations and all land. This guy is the top dog. Okay? It's a top dog. And he gave a great shout like the roar of a lion. And when he shouted, the seven thunders answered. Okay? And when the seven thunders spoke, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven saying, keep secret what the seven thunders said, and do not write it down. So stop real quick, guys. I want to speak to you about something real quick. It just dawned on me, or not dawned, but I wanted to say it earlier. I kind of forgot. When we go to heaven, we are striving to be what? Christ-like. We're striving to be more like Christ. Okay? And as we do that, the Lord will share in his glory with us as we become more like Christ, as we try to reach perfection. And as you do that, as you continue to do that, he is going to share in your glory. And that is why some of these angels are so glorified. They have been around a while. They've been striving for perfectness, and this glory just radiates from them. They can't even help it. Okay, and that's where the Lord comes in. When you come to the Lord's presence, you're just like, oh my gosh, it's the Lord. Okay, and so some of these angels have been doing this for a long time, and they're striving for that as well, just like we are. Okay, when we go there. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, how the Lord shares in your glory as you are trying to become more Christ-like as you're going in your walk with Christ, okay? And this doesn't end. We're never going to stop learning. We're never going to stop striving to be like the Lord. That's our dad. What do you want to do? You want to be like your dad. That's why he created us. That's what we're striving to do. We want to be like our dad. We are like our dad. That's what we're trying to do. So as you do that, as you're growing and maturing, he shares his glory with you. He's sharing in his glory. Okay, let's finish the chapter 10 there, or in Revelation, this last slide. Then the angel I saw standing on the sea and the land raised his right hand toward heaven. He swore an oath in the name of the one who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and everything in them, the earth and everything in it, and the sea and everything in it. He said, okay, listen, first of all it says an angel. Now he's swearing an oath to who? He's swearing an oath to the one who created the heavens and everything in it. Okay? There will be no delay. When the seventh angel blows his trumpet, God's mysterious plan will be fulfilled. It will happen just as he announced it to his servants, the prophets. Then the voice from heaven spoke to me again. Go and take the open scroll from the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and on the land. There you go. A voice from heaven spoke and said, go and take the open scroll from the hand of the angel. This voice from heaven, if it was God or Jesus Christ, it would say, go take the scroll from the Lamb. or from my son, or the Son of Man, or it would have said something like that so you know it was Jesus. It says, no, take it from the hand of the angel. It's an angel. It's not Jesus, who was standing on the sea and the land. So when I went to the angel and told him to give me the small scroll, yes, take it and eat it, he said. It will be sweet as honey in your mouth, but it will turn sour in your stomach. So I took the small scroll from the hand of the angel, and I ate it. It was sweet in my mouth, but when I swallowed it, it turned sour in my stomach. Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. And that's Revelation chapter 10, verse 1 through 11. Kind of gives you a little snippet of who Michael is. All right, verse 14. Let's knock this out, guys. Verse 14, I ain't got much left here. It says, now I am here to explain what will happen to your people in the future, for this vision concerns a time yet to come. Okay? So here we go. The angels let me know that, hey, this is all going to be future stuff. This is what's going to be happening. Battles that are going to be taking place just after I leave. And, of course, it goes all the way to the end times. Chapter 11, it goes all the way to the end. Okay? Verses 15 through 17. While he was speaking to me, I looked down at the ground, unable to say a word. Then the one who looked like a man touched my lips and opened my mouth and began to speak. I said to the one standing in front of me, I am filled with anguish because of the visions I have seen, my Lord, and I am very weak. How can someone like me, your servant, talk to you, my Lord? My strength is gone, and I can hardly breathe. So Daniel is still weak, and he's unable to concentrate or really comprehend what is going on because, like I said, his body can't handle it. He needs help from the Lord. Okay, this is like whoa, this is crazy. What's going on? He has to kind of gather himself, right? And so, like I said, this earthly body can't handle some of that stuff. So verses 18 and 19. Then the one that looked like a man touched me. Or some of the other versions, I think the KJV says, a hand reached down and touched me. And I felt my strength returning. Don't be afraid, the angel says, for you are very precious to God. Peace, be encouraged, be strong. So Daniel is touched, and he is told, take heart, be encouraged. And so Daniel's strength starts to be recovered, and he is getting ready to receive the message. He is about ready to receive what is about to happen. Okay? The rest of verse 19 says, and he spoke these words to me. I suddenly felt stronger and said to him, please speak to me, my Lord, for you have strengthened me. So now I'm ready, Lord. Here I am. I am ready to receive this message, and I am your servant. Verse 20 and 21. We'll go ahead and read. He replied, do you know why I have come? Soon I must return to fight against the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia. We just talked about that. Then after that, the spirit prince of the kingdom of Greece will come. Meanwhile, I will tell you what is written in the book of truth. And here at the end, no one helps me against these spirit princes except Michael, your spirit prince. This isn't a guardian angel. This isn't, Daniel's bodyguard is Michael. This is your spirit prince, meaning the nation of Israel. This is the Jewish nation. This is the protector of them. Okay? And I want you to do one more thing. A lot of versions, or some versions have the first verse of chapter 11 in chapter 10, and some of them do not. But it really should, the first verse of chapter 11 should be in chapter 10. And then it should go on from there. And some of them do that. It's really weird. But let's go ahead and read that. It's chapter 11, verse 1. As the angel's talking, it says, I have been standing beside Michael to support and strengthen him since the first year of the reign of Darius the Mede. Okay? So there you go. This angel is basically telling you his military duties. What he's got to fight against Persia. He's got to fight against Greece pretty soon when the spirit prince, when that kingdom arises. Right? We learned all about that, right? The ram and the goat and the beast and all that, Persia and then Greece. And then after Greece, it kind of went into Rome and then it expands to the end, right? So he's kind of telling you stuff like, when it comes into that. So, I want you to notice one other thing, because some of you guys have reading the KJV and some other versions. When it says the spirit prince of the kingdom of Greece, some of them say the spirit prince of the kingdom of Javan, right? So let's talk about Javan a little bit. What is Javan? Javan is the grandson of Noah, okay? And Javan was considered the founder of the Greek people, the father of the Greek people, the Greek and Italian people. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about this, guys, because I think it's really cool and it's something you guys need to know. So I have a slide here, the Japheth, son of Noah. Okay, so real quick, Japheth is a son of Noah, and what did he do? He went to the west. Okay, him and his descendants founded Europe, and of course went across the Mediterranean seas. Okay, so a lot of us are Western, we're of European descent. Most of us in the Americas are. That's North America. That is Central and South America. We're all Europeans, right? Spain and Portugal. That's, if you're Latino, that is from you are still considered European. So Japheth, son of Noah, the meaning of his name actually is may he expand. Okay, enlarge is another one. His name means enlarge. It means he's going to be a great nation. His descendants founded a lot of stuff. Okay, he is the ancestor and founder of Europe and the Western Mediterranean. So it's think of kind of like when you start to get in the western part of Russia, all of Europe, through the Western Mediterranean, and of course, what did Europeans do? Right? They founded the Americas too. We see that Javan was kind of like the father of the Greeks and the Italians, right? And one of his children was named Tarshish. Tarshish is the land of Spain and Portugal. So if you are of Latino descent, you're a descendant of Tarshish or a descendant of Javan, okay? And that's where Spain and Portugal comes from, is Tarshish. And so what happened? We know that Christopher Columbus was Italian. He went over to the Queen of Spain, right? And he asked for some provisions and some ships and to set sail across the seas to the newfound land. And so the Italians and the Spaniards kind of got together, and what they do? They founded the newfound land, the Americas, right? And so this is where our lineage comes from, and a lot of the northern Europe, okay? So you see that his children, Japheth's children was Magog, Javan, Gomer, Tubal, Madai, Meshes, Tiras, and Turk. So a little bit, I know a couple things. Gomer is who founded kind of Austria and Germany. Okay, so if you're of that descent, Gomer is kind of like your descendant, okay? It says Meshes and Magog, this is kind of like Russia area, Ukrainian area, okay? That is of your descent, okay? But it all stems from Japheth. Okay, and of course I just talked about Javan, who is kind of like the father of the Greeks and Italians, and then from there you had Tarshish and the Latino race from there. Okay, and so just thought that was kind of cool, something we need to talk about. And it says in your Bible, a lot of the versions say spirit prince of Javan. So I kind of want to give a breakdown of that. I think it's cool to know where your lineage is. I know we're all descendants of Noah. But it's cool that we know it's Japheth, and then you can kind of break off from there if you're of European descent. Okay, and of course the other sons of Noah, they founded different parts of Africa, and then they went out east and stuff like that. So, but anyways, that's cool. That is all I got for Daniel chapter 10. And we're getting into the good stuff the next couple lessons, guys. Okay, put your thinking caps on. I got to get geared up because I'm about to do some fighting. I already know. There's some really hardcore stuff that we're going to learn. And so, of course, that always makes it difficult, but it's going to be good, and it's all for the glory of the Lord. Hey, I love you guys. See you next week.